In this video, I'm going to try to provide you with something to think about before you do this on your own. And that would be try to install a mid-span structural support beam for open web floor trusses like this one right here. Now keep in mind these trusses are not designed like a TJI truss joist or construction standard lumber, not the same thing. And they can sag over time. And I hate to say it, but that's probably the reason why I would never use them. And I'm not saying they're crappy joist. For example, the video that I came across, it was 24 foot wide, and they were installing a mid-span support beam. That would have looked something like this. Now, the problem with these trusses is when you go to jack them up, you want to raise this up and put additional stress on the connections here that have already started to deform or separate a little bit. And I need to point out, I am not a structural engineer. I'm just kind of providing information that makes sense to me as someone who's been doing this for a long time. And of course, I would strongly suggest contacting an engineer before doing something like this. Even though, and I hate to say this, you can contact an engineer and they can still mess up, because they might not be familiar with this type of a repair, which makes it even worse. You have an engineer that might not be familiar with it. Then you have a contractor that might not be familiar with the repair. And to make matters even worse, you're filming it to make a YouTube video out of it. And we all know what happens after that. Now, here is one of the repair suggestions if you are going to install a mid-span beam. And that would be to install some additional support blocking like this here. And as someone who has had to install stuff around the truss webbing connectors, I can tell you that the little prongs that are going to be sticking out from the truss connectors are going to make it difficult, but not impossible, to put some type of support blocks like this in. And even though I've never seen this done, and you're probably wondering by now, why am I even making this video if I've never seen it done before? Well, that's because I don't think it's going to work if you don't install some type of a support here. If the beam is just supporting the bottom cord, I think you're going to be in trouble. And another idea that kind of makes sense to me, and again I say kind of, would be to move the beam over to where it is sitting directly under the webbing connection like we're looking at here, or move it over to the one on the other side. And another suggested method that I found would be to add some type of plywood or OSB to each side to transfer the weight better. If you're going to install it in the center, again, you're in the center here, you don't have any support, we add the plywood on both sides, and then we might get the support that we needed. Now, the last thing I want to point out in this video is that this repair is major structural damage. And if you do it incorrectly, then you could be adding to the problem and not fixing the problem. And to wrap up the video, I'm just going to throw out a few things that I came across while doing some research. And of course, this was provided by artificial intelligence here. And all the words won't be spelled correctly. And I'm not going to bother explaining this. I already explained some of it. And of course, this isn't a seal from an engineer, otherwise it would have a date on it and the engineer's name. And again, these are some of the suggestions I came across for the repair. Next up, let's take a look at some pictures. I want to point out that this right here would be a load-bearing wall. So we would have a load-bearing wall at the end, one at the other end. And you can see where they have the double 2x4s, the vertical 2x4s. And we're going to get to see a better shot of it over here. Here it looks like we have two of them. And since they were all put together, and this is an engineered floor framing system, then you can see where this right here, sitting on top of the load-bearing wall, is going to be transferring weight from this side down to here, and from the side over here on the right down to here. And I put these pictures in because I think it'll help you, even if you have a different type of open web floor framing system. And I believe these trusses were spaced 19 inches on center, but they could be 24 inches on center. And you can see where the rim board is not a truss joist. And another view of the load-bearing wall and the transfer from the double 2x4s here. And here we have unsupported vertical 2x4s. And hopefully they didn't move the walls to redesign the rooms. Maybe this is taking a load from above and transferring it down. And feel free to share any of your thoughts with us in the comment area. And of course, a wall that is a little lower to allow for the trusses to settle down if needed. And I know you can't see it here, but there's actually a better picture over here where you can see it's a little lower. And I don't know if there's a special hardware they were supposed to use, or maybe they just nailed through the bottom of the cord into the upper wall framing plate. And hopefully they lowered this wall over here because the load-bearing wall is over here. And then, of course, it's going to be over here somewhere. Another view of it there. And here we have the load transferring over to the beam. And then this, of course, is a load-bearing wall. You can see where the vertical double 2x4s are again. And another view of where we have the vertical 2x4 sitting on top of the wall. Now, I'm suggesting that this is a load-bearing wall because this is a long span, but maybe it isn't. I don't have the engineering plans on this. That the load-bearing wall would be over here, and then over here somewhere. Can't really see it because we got a 2x4 in the way. Over here. And hopefully the second part of this video here helped a little bit more if you weren't quite getting an idea of what I was talking about, or didn't really understand the vertical 2x4s that could be built into the truss joists, or that might need to be added if you're going to install a support wall or a structural support beam. And I know I said the last part was going to be the last part. Here's the last part of the video. I just thought I would throw in these models that artificial intelligence provided me with. And the reason why I probably won't be making videos in 2 or 3 years because they're going to dominate the market. And even though I don't think this will work, it's showing that it's safe. If I just move it over a little bit, it's not safe anymore. Warning, bottom cord problem. Okay, wait, we're safe again. This would make more sense. So again, we have a 24-foot span, and we probably just can't put something in the center here without some type of a web stiffener. And of course, if we go in the other direction, we got the same thing. And I just wanted to show you this because, like I said, this might be more applicable here than this one over here without a web stiffener. And one more thing, providing you with something that looks like the deflection that would happen in the truss, and the reason why you would need to have the partition walls in between the load-bearing sections of the video, whether it's going to be at both ends or in the middle somewhere. And of course, some type of a floor load path to hopefully provide you with enough information to make sense out of some of the stuff I talked about in this video. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let us know by hitting the thumbs up button or letting us know in the comment area.